Welcome to KCA Production. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss our content. We cover the best in global cinema, culture, and entertainment. Now let's get into today's video. From the streets of Rio de Janeiro to the heart of Nollywood, from the Argentine plains to the skylines of New York, the Americas have produced some of the most powerful, beautiful, and enduring films of history of cinema. Today, we are counting down the top 40 movies of all time from North and South America, measured by box office success, audience appeal, production quality, cast strength, storyline, and streaming views from 1960 all the way to 2026. We start at the number 40 and work our way to the greatest of them all. Let's go. At number 40, we have City of God, directed by Fernando Meirelles and Katia Lund. City of God is a raw and electrifying portrait of life inside a Rio de Janeiro favela. Produced by O2 Films and Video Films, it stars Alexandra Rodriguez and Leandro Femeno. Nominated for 4 Academy Awards, it became a landmark of Brazilian cinema. The film's kinetic editing and unflinching honesty made it a global sensation. Watch it on Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. At number 39, we have The Motorcycle Diaries, a road movie rooted in real history. The Motorcycle Diaries follows a young Ernesto Guevara and his friend Alberto Coronado across South America. Directed by Walter Sells and produced by Film 4 and South Fork Pictures, it stars Gael Garcia Bernal in a defining performance. The film captures the beauty of Latin America while tracing the political awakening of one of its most controversial figures, available on HBO Max and Tubi. At number 38, we have Roma. Alfonso Cuarón's semi-autobiographical masterpiece, Roma, is a quiet but devastating portrait of a domestic worker in 1970s Mexico City. Shot in stunning black and white, starring Yalitza Aparicio in the breakthrough performance. Produced by Esperanto Filmorge and Netflix, it won 3 Academy Awards including Best Director and Best Foreign Language Film. Roma reminded the world that Mexican storytelling stands among cinema's finest. Stream it exclusively on Netflix. At number 37, we have Scarface. Brian De Palma's Scarface is one of the most quoted and imitated films ever made. Al Pacino plays Tony Montana, a Cuban immigrant who claws his way to the top of Miami's drug empire. Produced by Universal Pictures and written by Oliver Stone, it is excessive, violent, and utterly magnetic. Decades later, its cultural footprint only grows. Available on Peacock, Amazon Prime Video, and Apple TV. At number 36, we have No Country for Old Men. The Sion Brothers, adaptation of Cormac McCarthy's novel, is a relentless thriller with no easy answers. Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones, and Javier Bardem deliver career-best performances. Produced by Miramax and Paramount Vantage, the film won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Anton Chigurh became one of cinema's most terrifying villains. The film asks hard questions about fate, violence, and morality. Watch it on Paramount Plus and Amazon Prime Video. At number 35, we have Apocalypto. Mel Gibson's Apocalypto is a survival epic set in the final days of Mayan civilization. Filmed entirely in the Yucatec Maya language and shot across Mexico, it stars Rudy Youngblood in a stunning physical performance. Produced by Icon Productions, the film is visceral, breathtaking, and deeply cinematic. Its depiction of Mesoamerican culture sparked both praise and debate worldwide. Find it on Disney Plus, Amazon, and Apple TV. At number 34, we have Central Station. Directed by Walter Sells, Central Station is one of Brazil's most emotionally powerful exports. Fernanda Montenegro, who received an Oscar nomination for her role, plays a retired school teacher who forms an unlikely bond with a young orphan boy. Produced by MACT Productions and Video Films, the film is a tender road journey across Brazil's northeast. It won the Golden Bear at Berlin. Stream it on Mubi and Amazon Prime Video. At number 33, we have Amores Perros. Alejandro Gonzalez, Iñárritu's debut feature, announced a major new voice in world cinema. 3 interlocking stories collide in Mexico City, all connected by a single car accident. Starring Gael Garcia Bernal and produced by Altversita Films, it is ferocious, compassionate, and brilliantly constructed. Nominated for the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, Amores Perros puts a Mexican cinema on the global map in a new way. Available on Mubi and Tubi. At number 32, we have The Wild Bunch. Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch shattered the conventions of the Western genre with brutal balletic violence and moral ambiguity. Starring William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, and Warren Oates, and produced by Warner Bros. The film follows aging outlaws facing the end of their era. Its slow-motion action sequences influence filmmakers from Scorsese to Tarantino, a defining work of New Hollywood. You can find it on Max and Amazon Prime Video. At number 31, we have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Judge Roy hails crowd-pleasing classic stars Paul Newman and Robert Redford as the iconic outlaw duo. Produced by 20th Century Fox, the film blends adventure, humor, and melancholy in a way that still feels fresh. It won 4 Academy Awards and was the highest-grossing film of 1969. The chemistry between Newman and Redford is arguably Hollywood's greatest on-screen partnership. You can stream it on Disney Plus and Amazon Prime Video. At number 30, we have El Secreto de Sus Ojos. Juan Jose Campanella's Argentine thriller won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film, and for good reason. Ricardo Darín leads a deeply compelling story about a retired investigator haunted by an unresolved murder decades later. Produced by Tonato Films and 100 Bars, the film is a meditation on memory, justice, and obsession. One of the greatest long-take sequences in modern cinema appears here. Available on Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. At number 29, we have Chinatown. Roman Polanski's neo-noir masterpiece remains one of cinema's most perfectly constructed films. Jack Nicholson plays private detective Jack Gates, drawn into a web of corruption and tragedy in 1930s Los Angeles. Produced by Paramount Pictures with a script by Robert Stone, it won 1 Oscar but belongs on every all-time list. Its ending is among the most devastating in film's history. You can find it on Paramount Plus and Max as well. At number 28, we have Moonlight. Barry Jenkins' Moonlight is a tender, groundbreaking portrait of a young black man navigating identity, sexuality, and survival in Miami. Starring Trevante Rhodes, Mahershala Ali, and Naomi Harris. It was produced by A24 and Plan B Entertainment. The film won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, told in 3 chapters, each more quietly devastating than the last. Moonlight confirmed A24 as one of cinema's most important studios. Stream it on Amazon Prime Video. At number 27, we have Pan's Labyrinth. Guillermo del Toro's dark fairy tale is set in post-Civil War Spain, but is quintessentially Latin American in its magical realist spirit. starring Ivana Baquero and Doug Jones, and produced by S Studios Picasso and Esperanto Filmage. The film blends brutal historical reality with breathtaking fantasy. It won 3 Academy Awards as well. Del Toro has called it his most personal film. Available on Max and Amazon Prime Video. At number 26, we have 2001, A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick's 2-1 is not just a film, it's a philosophical event produced by MGM and starring Keir Dullea. The film traces human evolution from prehistoric bone tools to the edges of the cosmos. Its visual effects, achieved entirely practically, still hold up over 50 years later. HAL 9000 remains cinema's most chilling artificial intelligence, a film that demands to be seen on the biggest screen possible. You can stream it on Max. At number 25, we have The Silence of the Lambs. Jonathan Demme's psychological thriller made Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal Lecter one of cinema's immortal villains, despite appearing on screen for barely 16 minutes. Starring Jodie Foster as FBI trainee, Clarice Starling, and produced by Orient Pictures, the film swept the Big 5 Academy Awards: Picture, Director, Actor, Actress, and Screenplay. It remains only the 3rd film in history to achieve this. You can stream it on MGM+, Tubi, and Amazon Prime Video. At number 24, we have Citizen Kane. Orson Welles made Citizen Kane at 25 years old and invented a new visual language for cinema in the process. Produced by RKO Radio Pictures and loosely inspired by William Randolph Hearst, the film tells the story of a media magnet's rise and ruin through fragmented flashbacks. It introduced deep focus cinematography and non-linear storytelling to mainstream audiences. For decades, it topped every critic's poll. Available on Max and Tubi. At number 23, we have Network. Sidney Lumet's Network predicted the future of television and media culture with disturbing accuracy. Peter Finch won a posthumous Oscar for his portrayal of a news anchor who breaks down on live TV and becomes a prophet of audience rage. Produced by MGM and United Artists, the film also starred Fayette Dunaway and William Holden. Its central monologue, "I'm mad as hell," entered the cultural lexicon permanently. Watch it on Max. At number 22, we have Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Michael Gondry's unconventional love story, written by Charlie Kaufman, stars Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet as ex-lovers who undergo a procedure to erase each other from memory. Produced by Focus Features, the film is visually inventive and emotionally devastating in equal measure. It won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Years on, it remains a definitive film about the pain of memory and the stubbornness of love. Stream it on Peacock. At number 21, we have E.T., the Extraterrestrial. Steven Spielberg's E.T. is the most purely emotional science fiction film ever made. A young boy named Elliot befriends a stranded alien while government agents close in. Produced by Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment, it starred Henry Thomas and Drew Barrymore. E.T. became the highest grossing film of all time at its release, a record it held for 11 years. John Williams' score is unforgettable. Watch it now on Peacock and Netflix. At number 20, we have The Truman Show. Peter Weir's The Truman Show was prophetic. Jim Carrey plays a man who does not know his entire life is a television program watched by billions. Produced by Paramount Pictures, the film is a sharp critique of surveillance, media, and manufactured reality that feels more relevant today than ever. Carrey delivers arguably his finest dramatic performance. Ed Harris as the show's creator is equally compelling. Stream it on Paramount Plus and Fubo. At number 19, we have Apocalypse Now. Francis Ford Coppola's Vietnam War epic is one of cinema's most ambitious achievements and most troubled productions. Starring Martin Sheen, Marlon Brando, and Robert Duvall, and produced by Zoetrope Studios, the film takes Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness into the jungle nightmare of Southeast Asia. The horror. The making of the film was as legendary as the film itself. Watch it on Max and Amazon Prime Video. At number 18, we have A Beautiful Mind. Ron Howard's biographical drama tells the story of mathematician John Nash, whose brilliant career was shadowed by schizophrenia. Russell Crowe delivers a towering performance, supported by Jennifer Connelly, who won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Produced by Universal Pictures and DreamWorks, the film won Best Picture and Best Director at the Academy Awards. It's a film about the cost of genius and the redemptive power of love, available on Peacock. At number 17, we have Schindler's List. Steven Spielberg's Holocaust drama is one of the most important films ever committed to celluloid. Liam Neeson plays Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who saved over 1,000 Jewish lives during World War II. Shot in black and white by Janusz Kaminski and produced by Universal Pictures, he won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Roger Ebert called it a film of enormous power. Stream it now on Peacock and Amazon Prime Video. At number 16, we have Forrest Gump. Robert Zemeckis' Forrest Gump follows a man with a low IQ who inadvertently shapes American history from the 1950s through the 1980s. Tom Hanks won his second consecutive Oscar for the title role. Produced by Paramount Pictures, the film is a love letter to American life and a meditation on faith, kindness, and perseverance. It won 6 Academy Awards and became the second highest grossing film of 1994. You can watch it on Paramount Plus. At number 15, we have The Lion King. Disney's The Lion King is the highest grossing traditionally animated film in history. Produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation, with voice performances from Matthew Broderick, James Earl Jones, and Jeremy Irons, it tells a story inspired by Shakespeare's Hamlet, set on the African savannah. Hans Zimmer's score and Elton John songs created some of the most recognizable music in cinema history, available exclusively on Disney+. At number 14, we have Blade Runner. Denis Villeneuve's sequel to the 1982 original is one of the rare follow-ups that equals and arguably surpasses its predecessor. Ryan Gosling stars alongside Harrison Ford, with Roger Deakins' cinematography winning the Oscar in a near-unanimous decision. Produced by Alcon Entertainment and Columbia Pictures, the film asks profound questions about humanity, memory, and what it means to be alive. You can watch it on Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, and Netflix. At number 13, we have Jurassic Park. Steven Spielberg's brought dinosaurs to life so convincingly that audiences still struggle to believe the creatures are not real. Starring Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park was produced by Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment. Its pioneering blend of practical and CGI effects permanently changed blockbuster filmmaking. It shattered box office records and spawned one of Hollywood's most enduring franchises. Stream it on Peacock and Netflix. At number 12, we have Avatar. James Cameron's Avatar became the highest grossing film of all time and remains a benchmark for visual spectacle in cinema. Set on the alien world of Pandora, starring Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana, and produced by Lightstorm Entertainment and 20th Century Fox, it pushed the boundaries of 3D filmmaking and motion capture technology. Its 2022 sequel also topped global box office chart. You could watch it on Disney+. At number 11, we have Interstellar. Christopher Nolan's Interstellar is the most emotionally ambitious science fiction film of the 21st century. Matthew McConaughey plays a pilot who travels through a wormhole in search of humanity's new home, while his daughter ages on Earth without him. Produced by Paramount Pictures and Legendary Entertainment, the film explores love as a force that transcends time and space. Hans Zimmer's organ-driven score is overwhelming in scale. You can stream it on Paramount Plus and Max. At number 10, we have Pulp Fiction. Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction arrived in 1994 and rewrote the rules of American independent cinema. John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, and Bruce Willis all delivered defining performances in this interlocking anthology of crime, violence, and dark humor. Produced by Miramax Films and a band apart, it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes and the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Still electric 30 years later, the movie is one of the best. Available on Tubi, Pluto TV, and Amazon. At number 9, we have The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight transcended the superhero genre entirely. Heath Ledger's posthumous Oscar-winning performance as the Joker is one of the most electrifying in cinema history. Starring Christian Bale and produced by Warner Bros. And Legendary Pictures, the film is a creeping moral thriller disguised as a blockbuster. With nearly $1 billion at the box office and a Rotten Tomatoes score about 94%, it remains peerless in its genre. Watch it on Max. At number 8, we have Inception. Christopher Nolan's Inception is the most original blockbuster concept of the 21st century. Leonardo DiCaprio leads a team of thieves who enter the architecture of human dreams to plant an idea. Produced by Warner Bros. And Syncope, the film won 4 Academy Awards and grossed over $836 million worldwide. Its spinning top ending sparked a cultural conversation about reality and illusion that has never fully settled. You can stream it now on Max and Netflix. At number 7, we have The Shawshank Redemption. Frank Darabont's adaptation of a Stephen King novella is the highest rated film on IMDb's all-time list. Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman star as prisoners who forge an unbreakable friendship inside Shawshank State's penitentiary. Produced by Castle Rock Entertainment, the film is about hope, patience, and human dignity. It was a modest box office performer and release, but found its true audience on home video. Available on Max and Amazon Prime Video. At number 6, we have Jaws. Steven Spielberg's Jaws invented the summer blockbuster and made an entire generation afraid to go into the ocean. Starring Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw, and produced by Zanuck Brown Productions for Universal Pictures. The film delivers pure, masterful suspense built largely on what you do not see. John Williams' two-note theme is the most effective piece of film ever written. Watch it on Peacock and Amazon Prime Video. At number 5, we have Star Wars: A New Hope. George Lucas's Star Wars changed Hollywood cinema and popular culture forever. Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher led an ensemble that became iconic within months of release. Produced by Lucasfilm and distributed by 20th Century Fox, it pioneered sound design, special effects, and franchise filmmaking. It won 6 Academy Awards and spawned one of the most valuable entertainment properties in history. You can stream it on Disney Plus. At number 4 we have Titanic, one of the most popular movies of a century and centuries ago. James Cameron spent over $200 million to recreate the sinking of the RMS Titanic and created one of the highest grossing films in history. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet star as lovers from opposite worlds aboard the doomed ship. Produced by Paramount Pictures and 20th Century Fox, Titanic won 11 Academy Awards, tying the all-time record. Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On became a global phenomenon. Available on Paramount. At number 3 we have The Godfather Part 2. Francis Ford Coppola's sequel is one of the very few films that critics argue surpasses its original. Al Pacino's Michael Corleone descends further into moral ruin, while Robert De Niro, in an Oscar-winning role, portrays the young Vito Corleone's rise in New York. Produced by Paramount Pictures, it won 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Few films have matched its structural ambition or emotional weight. Stream it on Paramount Plus and AMC Plus. At number 2, we have The Godfather. Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather is a cornerstone of American cinema. Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan, and Robert Duvall from one of the greatest ensemble cast ever assembled. Produced by Paramount Pictures, it won Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars. For decades, it sat atop every all-time greatest film poll. It's a film about family, power, and the corruption that follows when the two collide. Watch it on Paramount Plus and AMC Plus. At number 1, we have Avengers Endgame, the film that concluded the Marvel Cinematic Universe's 22-film Infinity Saga and became the second highest grossing film in cinema history, earning $2.798 billion worldwide and breaking opening weekend records in virtually every market in the world. Directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who had previously directed Captain America, The Winter Soldier and Civil War, Endgame picks up 5 years after the event of Infinity War, in which Thanos wiped out half of all life in the universe. The film's final act, the portal sequence in which every character from every previous MCU film arrives to fight the final battle, is the most emotionally overwhelming action sequence in blockbuster cinema history for anyone who has followed the franchise. Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, who has been the heart of the MCU since its first film in 2008, receives a final sacrifice of genuine tragic weight. I am Iron Man, 3 words that ended an era. And that is our top 40 movies of all time from North and South America. Did your favorite make the list? Drop it in the comments below and let us know what you think should be ranked higher. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to KC Production for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.